Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to draw this baby fern using watercolors and some accents of colored pencil. I have seen these cute little ferns popping up in the woods lately, and I thought they would be so fun to paint. And there's about 8 different varieties that grow wild around here, and there was some I did the other day, and I was going to share that video, but I lost a pretty important clip when my battery died in my camera and I had a big corrupted file, so unfortunately I don't have video for that entire one, but I decided to do another one, and this one is up in Critique Club if you would like a real-time version of this project. And there's also a pattern for this if you don't want to draw it out, but I love to draw, so I'm just drawing right in my sketchbook using a pencil. And this is a 0.9 millimeter pencil. I would go with something a little bit skinnier, but that's just what I had on hand. So I'm sketching out this kind of spiral design that the fiddleheads kind of have, or baby fern, whatever you want to call them. And I thought it was just really cute the way that they kind of just grew almost like dragon scales. And I'm using the pencil just to kind of lay it out before I go in with a pen. Now, there's another thing that I would recommend if you were doing this, and not to do what I did, but I'm using this product, which is it's like a brush type pen. It's got a flexible plastic nib on it, and it's a really fun pen to use, but it doesn't get super fine, and I think this would have looked better if I had some finer fine liners, but I didn't have any in brown, and I really wanted a brown or sepia type of color for this. Even like a sanguine pencil I think would be, or pen would be really cute with this, but anyway, I didn't have any with a finer tip. I only had this, so I decided I would use what I had and go ahead and try this. So you basically get a finer line by varying your pressure and working your pen more on the tip, like at a 90-degree angle with the paper. And then when you want a thicker line, all you have to do is give it more pressure and it will give you a wider line, kind of like a brush. And it's a lot of fun. It's kind of like a soft tip Tombow Funosuke pen, if you're familiar with how those feel. But yeah, I probably would recommend if you had like maybe like the Pitt wallet set that has the 4 different nibs to like use the finer nibs there. But, you know, hey, use what you have, right? Or you could definitely do this in black if you didn't care if you had a brown or a black color. I just thought that that would give it kind of like a vintage botanical look. And the nice thing about taking photos on your phone is that you can use the macro mode to get in really close to your subject, if it's a botanical or a bug or something like that. And then you can zoom in and move it around and get exactly your reference just the way you want to see it. So that's what I was doing here, and I thought it'd be kind of useful to see my phone and how I zoomed in there in case you've ever, you know, thought about taking your own reference photos, but maybe you weren't exactly sure how to use them once you had them on your phone. So being able to zoom in, see the details, see the way the light's hitting and illuminating the fuzz on the side, I think that's just really useful. So after I did that, I heated it up with my heat gun, and then I erased all my pencil lines. And even though I heated it with my heat gun, apparently these pens are not perfectly waterproof on a heavily sized paper. Now this paper is it's a sketchbook that I made with some like random leftover pieces of watercolor paper I had, and this is a Saunders Waterford watercolor paper, which I love this paper. It's so heavily sized. It's like as heavily, if not more heavily sized than Arches. And it's a wonderful paper. But I think that because it's so heavily sized, it did not absorb the ink from the pen 100%. It's not a big deal at all. I kind of approach my work in a very loose approach and kind of free-form way, so it didn't make a bit of difference for me really, but just something to kind of keep in mind. Hot press watercolor paper, if you're going to use really fine nib pens, would be a better choice. And that's another reason I wasn't really worried about using a really fine pen, because when I'm using a cold press or a rough watercolor paper, I tend to not use the finer pens because they get destroyed. It's almost like drawing on sandpaper. So yeah, you just got to match your pen to the surface and you'll be fine. Now, I did a lot of spattering. I did a lot of spraying. I basically wanted the background to be kind of interesting and kind of loose and free and just kind of feel like summertime or springtime. And I think I got a pretty good effect there. The palette I'm using, in case you're curious, it is by Etcher, and it is really cute and unique. It was designed by the artist Stephanie Law, who does a lot of really tiny paintings. And although this is very cute, and I'm so happy to have it in my collection, it is about the most impractical palette that I have. But for something like this, it worked out pretty well. Now, they do have another version that's got fewer wells. It still has a lot of wells, but they're like twice as big because there's like half as many. That's probably a better idea idea for most painters, but I thought it would be just fun to get this out and to paint with it since it's been a while since I used it. And you cannot put much paint in here, and it's very hard to fill these if you have the tubes with the larger holes. Like a lot of 15 ml tubes have a larger opening than like the 5 ml tubes, and they are kind of hard to fill from. So I would recommend, if you're getting this palette, that you use 5 ml tubes to fill them. But anyway, it's fun to pull out every once in a while and paint with because it's so dainty and small and cute. And yeah, if you do a lot of tiny artwork, I think you will love it. And it's ceramic, so it always just feels like a luxury to paint with a ceramic palette and a ceramic mixing space. And that tiny little tray that looks like a little milk carton, that was actually from Dollar Tree a few years ago, and I use that so much. It's such a great little size for a watercolor palette. I think it was sold as like a little trinket or a little ring dish or something. So I'm basically going and adding a layer of shading. Now, a color combination I really loved with this painting was using quinacridone gold and phthalo green. It makes such a beautiful, vibrant color, and it was just a lot of fun. I also used some green gold too, which gives it that like glowing spring fern green color. And I used some Naples yellow in like the little kind of fuzzy, onion skinny texture that the edges of the ferns have. And yeah, it worked out pretty well. And I kind of go back and forth calling these baby ferns and fiddleheads. These are actually like a baby woods fern. Fiddleheads are, I think, maybe like an oyster fern or something, the edible ones anyway. So if you are harvesting your own ferns to eat, just make sure you're getting the right ones, basically. I don't know if they would make you sick, but they probably wouldn't taste very good if they're the wrong kind anyway. But we've got little ferns popping up everywhere in Maine, and they're just so interesting. Some almost look like worms and snakes, and others look like kind of little balls. They're just really cute to see, and they grow so quickly that you don't see them out for too long before they've gone by and they're full-fledged ferns. But yeah, I thought I got to capture this little sign of spring anyway. So here I'm going in with some Prismacolor colored pencils. The reason, and this is kind of an arbitrary reason, that I use Prismacolor a lot for my mixed media work, mainly because I'm really used to them. And they're very opaque, and I tend to use them over markers and over watercolors. And also the fact that they have the color of the lead is all down the body of the pencil, so it just makes it really quick and easy for me to see what color I have. Are they the best quality pencil? No, I would say they're not. I think Derwent Color Soft is a better pencil for a soft pencil, but they only have color on the end, and it just takes a little longer for me to identify. So I tend to grab these more. If you like using colored pencil with other media, I have a brand new class called Creative Colored Pencil, and it goes over using pencils all on their own and also using them in combination with mixed media. And I will link to that in the video description if you're curious. And I'll also link to Critique Club in case you're looking for this specific tutorial. And if you do join Critique Club, you get access to all the projects I've posted over the last 5 years, over 100 full-length lessons, and reference images and patterns if available, and that's all right there, and an easy to find format. But wherever you're trying to learn, however you want to learn, I'll meet you where you're at, whether it's free YouTube videos or it's a class or it's a membership or whatever. You know, there's just so many different ways that you can learn here with me on the channel or in my classroom, wherever. So I'm adding a little more shading with the colored pencils, just trying to, I don't know, integrate the colors a little better. And I realized I needed more watercolor here. So generally you don't put watercolor over colored pencil because it's not going to stick, but it will seep down into the nooks and crannies. And that's basically what I'm doing there to give that a little bit of a pushback away from that fern that's unfurled already, that leaf that's unfurled. And I was able to get it to work out pretty well. Now you can also use a credit card scraper or something to do the veining on the fern leaves if you wanted to. I just chose to do pen and ink, but you know, it's completely up to you. When you are creating artwork, you should create the artwork that you want to create and adapt other tutorials to meet you where you are, to make use of the materials that you have and to give you the look that you want. And I'm just doing some final light highlights with a white Prismacolor pencil, and honestly, that's pretty much it. I love to use colored pencils over watercolor. It really makes quicker work of colored pencil. It makes more finished work of watercolor, and it just works for my method of working. So all the links that I mentioned will be in the video description. I want to thank you so much for watching this, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye!